In 2014, some 500 miles off the coast of Japan, a probe began its silent descent, plunging more than 8,000 meters into the ocean's embrace. What it discovered, drifting in that profound darkness, didn't just rewrite the rules of biology, it reimagined the very blueprint of life and the essence of survival. The Hades Ecosystem Studies Expedition, known as Hades, dispatched its unmanned landers to the floor of the Izu-Ogasawara Trench. Their mission, to meticulously map the abyssal terrain and gather precious sediment samples. For decades, the scientific community held a firm belief complex life simply couldn't exist under such extreme conditions. Below the 6,000-meter mark, seawater transforms into an overwhelming, suffocating force. Conventional bones begin to dissolve, cells collapse, proteins lose their intricate three-dimensional structure, ceasing to function entirely. This invisible boundary marks the beginning of the Hadal Zone, a name whispered from Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. It's a geological realm, ancient and profound, forged by the violent collision of tectonic plates. Deep trenches tear through the ocean floor, carving out abysses so vast they could easily engulf Mount Everest whole. The network of acoustic sensors scattered across the western Pacific rarely pick up biological sounds within these deep rifts. What dominates the hydrophones is the low, mournful groan of the Earth's crust as it tears itself apart, the grinding friction of entire continents slowly sliding into the planet's fiery mantle. It is an environment of constant, relentless geological destruction. Earlier expeditions, like the bathyscaph's Trieste's dive in 1960, could barely glimpse the seafloor, obscured by a swirling cloud of disturbed silt. Today, silent titanium robots pierce that absolute void with their beams of light. Where science once predicted a sterile desert of crushed rock and lifeless mud, high-resolution cameras unveiled movement. Something pale, something silent, something perfectly adapted to that crushing hell of pressure. Marine biology had to confront an uncomfortable truth. Life doesn't just endure in the ocean's underworld, it thrives in the deepest shadows. Abyssal Plume. Today, we plunge 11,000 meters deep to investigate the creatures of the Hadal Zone, to uncover what lives, what hunts, and what perishes where the sun's light has never, ever touched. The descent begins. Our submersible leaves the sun-drenched surface of the Pacific behind. 100 meters, the vibrant blue light begins to fade. 500 meters, we enter the mesopelagic zone, the realm of twilight. Here, bioluminescence flickers like distant ethereal stars. 1,000 meters, darkness becomes absolute. The temperature plummets to a chilling 4 degrees Celsius. 2,000 meters, pressure begins to crush any empty space. Our titanium hull groans in protest. 4,000 meters, we reach the abyssal plain. For most of the ocean, this is the bottom. A vast, silent expanse of fine mud and marine snow. But our journey has barely begun. We navigate towards the Mariana Trench, an abrupt, jagged cut in the seafloor. The sonar emits a long, searching pulse, and the echo takes an eternity to return. The abyss yawns open beneath us. 6,000 meters, we cross the invisible boundary into the Hadal Zone. Pressure reaches 600 times that of the surface. The water here feels different, so compressed it becomes denser, heavier. 8,000 meters, 800 atmospheres, relentlessly crushing every square centimeter of our submarine. It's the equivalent of an elephant standing on your thumb. The basic chemistry of life simply shouldn't function here. In shallower waters, pressure primarily affects gases, but in the Hadal zone, the force is so brutal it deforms the very water molecules themselves, compelling them to crush the cells of any organism. To survive, these creatures had to evolve a chemical armor, a molecule called trimethylene oxide. It acts as a microscopic shield, preventing the immense pressure from destroying vital proteins. 10,000 meters, the silence is thick, heavy, almost tangible. The beams of our floodlights cut through the murky water, revealing walls of steep, ancient rock. Submarine slides create avalanches of silt that sweep down the trench's slopes. It is a hostile, cold, and unforgiving environment. Understanding this place is crucial for astrobiology. If life can exist in Earth's Hadal trenches, it could very well thrive in the subterranean oceans of Europa, Jupiter's moon. We are exploring an alien world without ever leaving our own world. The submersible's light sweeps across the silicate floor. 11,000 meters, the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point of our ocean. The expectation is to find only bacteria, but then something stirs. A creature glides through the ancient dust. It has no scales, no hard shell. It appears like a ghost of pale jelly. This is a Hadal snailfish, the apex predator of this unique ecosystem. To witness it swim with such effortless grace under a pressure that would crush a battle tank is profoundly unsettling. Its body is translucent. We can see its internal organs working in slow, deliberate motion. Its bones aren't rigid calcium, but flexible, almost liquid cartilage. It doesn't fight the pressure. It allows the immense force to simply pass through it. Further on, drawn by bait left by our research module, benthic amphipods emerge. Giant crustaceans resembling sea fleas, yet the size of footballs. They swarm the bait in a silent frenzy. Their guts contain enzymes capable of digesting wood, a bizarre adaptation to devour the remnants of trees and terrestrial debris that sink to the abyss. There are no plants here, no photosynthesis. The entire food chain relies on the death that drifts from above. Whale carcasses, lost scales, the droppings of pelagic fish. It's an ecosystem built upon the mere crumbs of the illuminated world. Our sonar reveals strange structures clinging to the rocks, xenophyophores. They resemble delicate sponges or corals, but the truth is far stranger. Each one is a single, colossal cell, the size of a human fist, housing thousands of nuclei. They filter the sediments, absorbing heavy metals and toxins that would kill any other life form. The camera draws closer to a rocky outcrop, a faint, pulsing glow in the utter darkness, an abyssal anemone. Its tentacles sway in an imperceptible current. No eyes, no brain, yet somehow it reacts to the mechanical vibration of our robot. It contracts in the blink of an eye. Life here is not an exception, struggling to survive. It is a relentless biological rule, perfectly attuned to the absolute darkness. But the Hadal Zone also guards paradoxes that science has yet to decipher. The deepest biological mystery isn't what we found, it's what we haven't found. The Hadal snailfish was filmed at precisely 8,178 meters. No expedition in any oceanic trench worldwide has ever encountered a fish below 8,200 meters. Why? Biologists believe they've discovered the absolute limit, the biochemical barrier. Below that mark, the amount of trimethylene oxide needed to keep cells intact would make the fish's body denser than the seawater itself. It would simply sink like a stone. Yet the ocean has a peculiar habit of proving our theories wrong. In 2022, hydrophones installed on the floor of the Kermadec Trench picked up acoustic anomalies, low-frequency pulses, too rhythmic to be seismic events, too random to be human machinery. The sound traveled through the dense water and vanished into the void. If there are no fish below 8,000 meters, what is producing these echoes from depths of 10,000 meters? Giant invertebrates? Unknown cephalopods with no bones to be crushed, wandering the abyssal floor? Then there's the mystery of reproduction. Hadal trenches are isolated from one another by vast abyssal plains. They are inverted islands. A creature from the Mariana Trench has no way to migrate to the Japan Trench. The intermediate pressure is far too low. They would perish of decompression if they tried to ascend to cross the plain. Yet the DNA of amphipods from trenches separated by thousands of kilometers is almost identical. How did they spread? How do they find each other in that dark immensity to mate? The population density is so low that finding a partner should be statistically impossible. And then there are the marks in the mud. Remotely operated vehicles have photographed trails in the sediment at 10,500 meters, symmetrical tracks, footprints that belong to no known crustacean or worm. They measured them, photographed them, but they cannot explain what passed by. The trench floor was empty. Whatever left those marks is large, and it moves fast enough to escape the light beams before it can be seen. The Hadal Zone represents almost half of Earth's entire ocean depth, a vast, three-dimensional frontier we have barely begun to scratch. We've mapped the surface of Mars with millimeter precision. We know the craters on the far side of the Moon, yet the bottom of our own planet remains a dark, silent enigma. The creatures that dwell there are aliens in our very own home, survivors of an extreme world shaped by forces that would obliterate any man-made material. They feed on death and swim through crushing pressure with the ethereal grace of ghosts. And what's most unsettling, most of these trenches are subduction zones. They are literally pulling the oceanic crust into Earth's fiery, churning mantle. The sea floor is slowly being swallowed by the planet itself. And yet, life has chosen precisely this violent geological threshold to build its silent empire. What else hides within these trenches? What other rules of biology are being broken right now in the dark 11,000 meters below us? In our next dive, Abyssal Plume will investigate another mystery of the shadows, the gigantism of the deep. Why do creatures living in the abyss grow 10 times larger than their surface relatives? The answer lies in the darkness and in the hunger.